There we go. Now, how happy are you now to see Declan Rice through the door finally?
Terry, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that Mikel Arteta and Edu has delivered on a signing of that magnitude, being able to get him when was the last time we were able to get a player that all these people wanted, an English player, might I add. I don't think we've been able to do that since Sol Campbell. This is the biggest English signing we've made in a long time, and this is probably the biggest signing we've made since Mesut Ozil. So as a fan base, we're ecstatic. We're so happy, and you can tell by how everyone was just waiting for the social media to announce Declan Rice that we were just gonna all celebrate, enjoy. I knew it's been happening for a long time, but yeah. And to people who are saying the £100 million price tag, it brings a lot of pressure. I welcome the pressure. We want the pressure. We love the pressure. Is because at this moment in time, we're in a situation where we are putting ourselves in conversation to win the league, and Declan Rice is the kind of person who can either come in and raise us over that level to get us where we need to be. Because his injury issues with Thomas Partey, Declan Rice doesn't necessarily have that consistency in performances. He has that. A player who also the solidity defensively helps us carry the ball from midfield. He can also play 2 different positions, 3 different positions, even if you want to play him as a center back. It's just I'm so happy that we got him over the line, and it just makes it more better that we got him over Man City and Bayern Munich and some of these other guys who've wanted him in the past years. It's just the icing on the cake for me.
Yeah. Do you feel agendas are already being created by rivals? Are you seeing that already online?
100%. Shout out to my boy Kaz. He was saying to me earlier today that he's not even top 6 in the midfielder in the league. And then you have Man United fans telling me Scott McTominay is better than him. You know the same old jokes that people just say. And then the best one of all is apparently he's not press resistant. Since when is he not press resistant? I've seen Hussam talk about this. I've seen other people talk about it. Since when is Declan Rice not press resistant? And in a better team with better players around him, who's to say you don't see more from him and is more of his attributes? Because we all know the jump guys can make going from a team like a lesser team to a better team. We've all seen it before with many different examples. Conte going from Leicester to Chelsea. We've seen the jump that he made and helped them win the league after winning the league at Leicester. We've seen Roy Keane go from what was it, Nottingham Forest to Manchester United after they got relegated. Was it Nottingham Forest, if I'm not mistaken?
He came from Nottingham Forest, yes.
Yeah, and then he went on to do what he did. There's just been so many different examples of players that came from lesser clubs within the Premier League to go on and do better things. So I just think he's just one of those guys there. And the whole thing about revisionaries, you know what people keep saying now? Partey and Xhaka were not rated last season, Terry, by a lot of rivals. You remember this. How many times were people making fun of Partey and Xhaka throughout the season? All of a sudden now we're moving them on, and they're the best thing since sliced bread. I've never seen this before. The 360 U-turn that the rival fan base has made on Xhaka and Partey is crazy. You would think Xhaka and Partey were prime Iniesta and what do you call it? And Xavi or something. The way that people are talking about them, they're unbelievable. You can't change them. No, the reality is they're both getting older. Xhaka was more reliable than Partey, I would even say, with availability. And we're replacing them with potentially with a 3-man midfield of Declan Rice, Lavia, and Havertz. So I'm not gonna lose sleep over this. And to the Man City fans, you guys were telling me you guys are sharks and you're gonna get him. So don't now change up, because I'm not one of these guys who, when a player rejects us, Terry, I sat here and I said Modric rejected us. Big deal. I'm here. I'll take the corn. Same with Martinez. You remember this? How many times did you bring up Martinez rejected you guys? And I say, yeah, he did. Even though we never took it to the level where City did and wanting to pay that kind of money. But hey, it's funny how people will just say, oh, we never bid, or we never were serious.
Yeah, I hear that. And look, agendas are just going to agenda. You know what I mean? And for me, I can't slag Rice off because I've been advocating for my club to buy him for 3 or 4 years. It would look really weird to suddenly sit there and talk about how bad a player he is. Yeah, it's like
Terry.
Yeah, look, Scotty's just not on Rice's level, in my opinion, and it is what it is. But do you feel you're ready now for the start of the season? Is the investment is there, the pressure is there. You've got to be in the title race as the bare minimum. Do you feel like you've done enough, or is there more business that's still needed for Arsenal? And if so, where?
If we get rid of Partey and Balogun, there's room to bring in a player like Xavi Simon on loan, potentially who can play on the right side with Bukayo Saka. And there's also room to bring in another midfielder if we get rid of Thomas Partey. But it all depends on the outgoings, Terry. Are we ready? Yes. I think we are ready. I think we're ready to take on Manchester City. I think we're ready to take on the Premier League. I think we're ready to start the season off well. And I think a lot of people who didn't believe in us, who didn't believe this team would get better, who didn't believe this team would actually have the strength to go out and push on and get in big signings like Timber, like Declan Rice. I'm not even going to say Kai Havertz because a lot of people probably don't rate him, but we'll see what happens next with the rest of the signings that didn't believe in us are now going to wake up and be like, you know what, I see what they're able to do. And the performances we had last season are just indicative of signs of where we're headed in. And I do believe this team will have, with the signings of Declan Rice, we'll just have those extra couple points to get us over the line. And I do believe Manchester City, be controversial as it is, I haven't seen enough from them yet to say that they're at the same level or even getting better. They're losing big names like potentially Gundogan, Kyle Walker, Riyad Mahrez, and Bernardo Silva's always linked away. So with our biggest rival not yet getting any stronger and us continuing to improve our squad, I really do believe we're ready. And Mikel Arteta has just gone to they're going to the US right now for preseason, and we got three signings already. I'm excited, Terry. I think that we've done well, and I just got to give the hats off to Edu and Mikel Arteta and the signings that they've brought into the door, and just say, you know what, bring it on. And everyone who brings up last season, we bottled it last season. That was last season. This season, new deal, and you're going to see a new Arsenal. I'm telling you, we might start off the same way Liverpool did. Start off quick off the bat with all the new signings, and people won't be surprised that people will be surprised that we start off the same way we started the season last season with all our new players there.
Do you kind of, I get where you're coming from, and it is a new year, and I think you guys should be. I'm still seeing a lot of rivals are going to be salty. I'm going to put pressure on you. I don't want you to be successful to a degree. I don't want City doing a 4-peat. I don't want Liverpool winning the league. So if Man United can't win the league, I would prefer you to do it to those guys. Liverpool would catch our title records. City would do a 4-peat, which we've never done. So there are reasons. But as a general rule, I don't want you to win it. I want Man United to. But why am I still seeing lots of negative gooners? Brandon and many others fuming after like what was an okay preseason game. They're still angry. You know, people are angry that Declan Rice took so long to be announced. People are angry that Cecil G was singing Rice, Rice, Baby. Why are there still gooners who are not in a good... I can't fathom why Arsenal fans are not excited with how well you did last year, the investment that's been made, the speed of the deals, the quality of the players that you've brought in, the fact that you're going to probably still buy a couple more. Why is there not excitement amongst 95% of Arsenal fans? Why is there still a lot of negative Nellies?
Okay. First, let me just say the Cecil part. I honestly, AFTV is hilarious. I love it. They did that whole Rice Rice Baby thing with Cecil. It's amazing. I loved it. But a lot of fans think it's embarrassing because it gets used as a way to beat a player down.
If he starts badly, yes, it will.
Yeah. So the first game against whoever we play, if I'm not mistaken, are we playing Forest? I think I'm not sure.
I'll have to look. I
think we're playing Nottingham Forest at home in the first game of the season. But basically, if he has a bad game, you're gonna see Cecil dancing on the timeline a lot. It's gonna happen a lot, and people are not gonna be. So that's more what people are saying. And also, some people just find it cringy. People don't like people celebrating and doing stuff like that. Now, when it comes to the negative side of things, you can't please everybody in life. There's going to be fans, no matter what we do, they're going to bring up something. So the new thing that people are upset about is that Thomas Partey could potentially be sold. Some people are upset that Balogun potentially could be sold. There needs to be something to be upset about. So the first thing was Arsenal are in the Champions League. We better see a big signing. Declan Rice comes in. Well, they're happy. They got what they wanted, but they move on to the next topic. Okay, we need more. Well, we bring in a couple more signings. We bring in Timber. We bring in that guy. Well, we still have Rob Holding here. El Neni here. Well, Rob Holding's linked to leaving the club. El Neni's going to probably leave at the end of his contract. Lokonga potentially could leave. Cedric could potentially leave. Well, they're still here. I'm upset. So just the mere fact that you see some of these guys' faces on the screen pisses people off. You can't help that, right? So and then when it comes to the negative side of things, I don't view it as negative all the time. I just view it as a difference of opinion. Some people view things glass half full. Some people view things glass half empty. some people like to just see the side of things that they think can go wrong and will go wrong, and they always mention those things. It's not necessarily that they're negative, that they just like doing that, Terry, and I can't help them. I can't help them from. I feel sorry for some people that don't see things on the positive side of things, because when are you going to enjoy yourself?
Yeah, like I kind of listen. I understand the challenge. I find it like I've seen Man United fans scream blue murder that Ten Hag needs to be more
You
ruthless.
know what happened today? Reece
What?
Nelson wasn't on the U.S. trip because he's injured. People were like, "How dare you put Elneny on the plane and not Reece Nelson?" It's not like we said, Reece Nelson, you can't come. He's injured. But people are gonna find something.
Yeah, that's what I find. But take it away from Arsenal. United fans for months. Manager's got to be ruthless, ruthless, ruthless. Pulls a contract offer away from De Gea. How dare you treat people like that? And this is what I always talk about. Whenever I called Lee Gunner out for this weeks ago, said you've asked for your manager to be ruthless. He deems potentially Xhaka and Partey need to exit. Now you're angry at who he's being ruthless with, and I always feel like the can just gets kicked down the street. No matter what they do, negative people will always remain. They'll always look for right. What can I? How can I spin this good outcome into a bad one? What can I look for that's negative about it? Does that make sense? And it's just strange to me. But then again, I'm not. I'm on the outside looking in, and I look at Arsenal's situation, and barring having just won a major trophy, I don't feel like there's anything to be negative about. And even then, this notion of well, we haven't won a trophy, so I'm going to remain angry until we win one. I don't think that'll be enough. With
Terry,
those same people, when you win one, the goalposts will move again to, yeah, but it's just one. We've got to retain it now. Or, yeah, but we didn't do it in a style that I wanted. Or we got lucky because of this. And I've seen it for many years. People say it's just Twitter. It's not Twitter. People were talking like this. When Wayne Rooney didn't score the World Cup in 06 and then in 2010, when he eventually did it 2014, the same people that were angry with him for not scoring at the previous two just started moaning about the fact that, well, why did he bother do it now for? Why couldn't you do it in the previous tournaments when we had a better team? Okay, so it was never about, it was just about hating on Wayne Rooney. You've seen, by the way, Harry Kane, his whole career, one season wonder, second season wonder. Can he score against the big teams? Eventually, he'll win a trophy. Eventually, he'll score in a final, and they'll still find a reason to say he's not good. And it used to be funny when it was kind of rivals doing it to each other. I just don't understand the level of negativity that people have towards their own teams when there isn't that much to be negative about.
you know
I
what
can
I
get it when you were eighth, but not when you're where you are now. You're just beating City to one of the best players in Europe. You're being back financially, in my opinion, for the first time in the Premier League era, fully with the contracts you're giving. It's time to be excited as an Arsenal fan. I don't get that even if it's only 10%, I don't get their constant belly aching.
But Terry, they can't, because we smashed the stadium down to be on the same level as Bayern Munich. So until we get there, we can't. My whole thing is High Standards FC have a fundamental issue with building a squad to a level to compete. They just want the squad to go from 0 to 100 real quick with nothing in between, and you physically cannot do that. There's going to be a moment where you have to build to get to something. And also, this whole the new thing, Terry, is if Mikel Arteta doesn't deliver the Champions League or a league title, it doesn't matter if we do a domestic double, he's still sacked. What kind of conversation is this? Can we not go into the season being like, you know what, we welcome the opportunity to try to win the league title. We welcome the opportunity to be back in the Champions League for the first time in a long time, but we need to see adequate improvement. But at the same level, why does it always have to be an ultimatum? Why does it always have to be a thing where we go back to Arteta in and out? Like, have we not moved past this? Are we not beyond the point of where we talk about Mikel Arteta's job security every 2 days? Because at this point, I'm beyond that. I'm past the conversation of talking about job security, and I'm on the conversation of winning trophies. But guess what? The same people who have high standards are on the conversation of still talking about resetting and restarting the whole thing than actually trying to win.
You can have high standards and still be in a good mood.
Yeah.
It's not right. If you're a person with high standards, it means you're grumpy in life. I don't.
I don't have the best job, so I'm never going to be happy the rest of my life. I'm going to wake up angry every day.
Yeah, what? It's like there. I don't. As I said, I saw anger after a first preseason game. It made no sense to me personally.